At exactly 2:32 p.m., Helen Davies opened her front door to a familiar face carrying what appeared to be her daughter's belongings. She had no idea that 13 days of careful planning had led to this moment, and that the young man standing before her was about to carry out the most calculated act of revenge her family would ever face. For 25-year-old Megan Davies, the quiet village of Oakwood in Cheshire was home. Megan lived with her family in a detached house on Willow Drive. She had built a thriving pet portrait photography business called Pause and Reflect during the COVID lockdown, working from a converted studio in the family garden. Her clients adored her eye for capturing animal personalities and her gentle, patient manner. Megan was the youngest daughter of ITV Sports presenter Michael Davies and his wife, Helen. The family was incredibly close-knit. Helen, at 62, was described by friends as the most generous, warm-hearted soul they'd ever known. She volunteered weekly at the Oakwood Community Kitchen and had met Michael years earlier at a university debate society. Their partnership had blossomed into a marriage that produced 3 daughters. The eldest sister, 29-year-old Sophie Davies, was a nutritionist running her own wellness practice in Wilmslow. Colleagues said she was transformative for her clients, known for her holistic approach and radiant positivity. She was planning a life with her fiancé, David Chun, who would later call her his guiding light and best friend. The sisters had attended the Grange School in Hartford and remained each other's fiercest supporters and closest confidants. The Davies family had everything to live for. Michael's successful career as a familiar voice on televised golf and rugby coverage brought him a public profile, but at home, he was simply a devoted, joke-cracking dad. They were, by all accounts, living an idyllic life. But on the 9th of July, 2024, that idyllic life would be shattered forever by a man consumed with rage, entitlement, and an inability to accept rejection. Megan had met Liam Carter sometime in late 2022 when she was 24 and he was 25. Born on the 12th of June, 1998, Liam was a former Army engineer who had served a short tour before leaving the military in 2021. He worked as an installation technician for a home security company, but his colleagues would later describe him as having a warped sense of humor and making colleagues uncomfortable with laddish and derogatory comments about women. Liam came from a fractured background. His older half-brother, Ryan Carter, was serving a life sentence for manslaughter, having been convicted of a fatal street attack following a nightclub altercation in 2018. Liam reportedly referred to his brother as hardened and was a regular prison visitor. A pattern of violence seemed woven into the family fabric. Their 18-month relationship appeared normal to outsiders. Liam would visit the Davies family home regularly, joining for Sunday roasts and birthdays. Michael Davies would later say he never witnessed a single argument during Liam's visits. There were no obvious alarm bells. But behind closed doors, a different picture was emerging. Friends of Megan began to notice changes. Liam was controlling in ways both subtle and overt. He criticized her choice of clothing, insisting on a more modest style. He questioned her time with friends and became intensely jealous, even of casual conversations with male clients. He had what Megan's friends described as a short fuse, with episodes of aggressive driving that left Megan shaken. One particularly telling incident occurred when Liam showed Megan and her friends an online video glorifying violence. When they expressed disgust, Liam smirked and said it was just banter. It was one of many red flags. Liam also led a secret life. During their relationship, he was active on dating apps like Tinder and Bumble, maintaining connections with other women while presenting himself as Megan's committed boyfriend. At work, managers had noted and reprimanded him for inappropriate, sexually charged banter that crossed professional lines. But Megan saw glimpses of something darker. 5 days before her murder, she wrote a note on her phone. In it, she documented Liam's disparaging remarks about her ambitions, his contempt for people he deemed weak, and the cold, dismissive way he spoke to her when angry. Her friends and family had no idea how bad things had become. By June 2024, Megan had reached her breaking point. The once vibrant young woman was becoming increasingly withdrawn and anxious. She confided in her closest friend about Liam's Jekyll and Hyde personality, charming one moment, cold and cutting the next. On the 3rd of July, just 6 days before her death, Megan shared a poignant message on social media. She reposted a quote that read, The strongest thing a person can do is walk away from a situation that is slowly killing them, piece by piece. It was a clear, public indication that Megan was gathering the strength to leave. On the 26th of June, 2024, Megan finally ended the relationship. Her father, Michael, would later describe it as a clear, calm conversation. Megan was sad but resolved. She understood the grief of ending something familiar, but she knew with certainty that Liam was not the partner she deserved. Liam appeared to accept the breakup. There were no dramatic scenes, no overt threats. To Megan and her family, it seemed he had taken the news with a stoic, if disappointing, maturity. Megan was devastatingly wrong. Liam's calm was a facade. Inside, he was boiling with a sense of profound injustice and humiliation. He refused to accept Megan's decision and began plotting what he saw as the ultimate retribution. If she thought she could discard him, he would erase her world. For 13 days, from the 26th of June to the 9th of July, Liam Carter methodically prepared for mass murder. On the 28th of June, just 2 days after the breakup, Liam began ordering weapons online. He purchased a high-powered compound crossbow with a package of bolts, a large hunting knife, and attempted to buy a gas-powered pistol, though it wouldn't arrive in time. He also bought industrial-strength cable ties, heavy-duty tape, and containers of accelerant. Liam's digital footprint during this period was a roadmap to his intent. He conducted extensive research into Michael Davies' broadcasting schedule, studying sports calendars to pinpoint when the presenter would be away from home. He scrolled through Helen Davies' social media, learning family routines. He even checked local weather forecasts for the 9th of July. On the 4th of July, store CCTV captured Liam at a hardware superstore, calmly purchasing rolls of duct tape. He looked like any other customer. The night before the murders, Liam's internet history revealed he had binge-watched videos from online figures known for promoting hypermasculine, anti-women ideologies. For Liam, already seething with rage, this content validated his warped sense of betrayal. He also wrote rambling letters to his family, documents filled with self-pity. He wrote that life had lost its color and told them not to blame themselves, as he needed to find peace. On the morning of the 9th of July, Liam maintained his facade one final time. He was captured on CCTV having coffee with his parents and younger sister, appearing unremarkable. He even took a call from another woman he was casually seeing. A stark reminder that Megan had never been his sole focus, despite his claims of devastation. As his family enjoyed their morning, the tools of destruction sat in his car. At 1:40 p.m., Liam parked near Willow Drive in Oakwood. He conducted final surveillance, noting which cars were home. He then searched online for that day's sporting events, confirming Michael Davies would be at a remote golf tournament broadcast. His plan was crystallizing. At 2:32 p.m., Liam approached the front door of the Davies home. He carried his knife concealed and put on the performance of his life. When Helen answered, Liam's demeanor was apologetic and subdued. He said he was just returning some of Megan's things and asked how she was. Helen, ever compassionate, expressed concern for him. She urged him to take care of himself and even suggested some counseling resources. Even with murder in his heart, Helen Davies treated him with the kindness that defined her. The brief conversation was recorded by the doorbell camera. It captured Helen's final moments of normality. At 2:33 p.m., Liam attacked Helen Davies in her own hallway. She fought desperately, but was caught completely off guard by someone she had shown nothing but kindness. After the attack, Liam waited. For approximately 35 minutes, he remained in the house, ensuring his first victim was dead. During this eerie interlude, Megan's photography clients came and went through the side gate to the garden studio, utterly unaware. At 3:07 p.m., Liam returned to his car to retrieve the crossbow. He concealed it under a blanket and re-entered the house, stepping over Helen's body to lay in wait for Megan. Megan finished her last client session and entered the main house at 4:11 p.m. The doorbell camera immediately captured the sound of a horrified scream, which lasted for over a minute. Megan had discovered her mother. What followed was several hours of terror. Liam restrained Megan. He subjected her to a prolonged, degrading, and violent assault, what prosecutors would later call an act of utmost cruelty and spite. At 5:31 p.m., Liam used Megan's phone to text Michael Davies. "What time will you be back tonight?" He was checking his timeline. He also searched online for how to disable smoke alarms, as he was allegedly preparing to burn the evidence. At 6:20 p.m., Liam closed the patio blinds, sealing the house in darkness. Sophie Davies was approaching the house when she called her mother's phone at 6:49 p.m., getting no answer. She used her key. She entered just moments after Liam shot Megan at close range with the crossbow. Sophie called out as she moved through the house. Upon confronting Liam upstairs, she began shouting at him. At 6:52 p.m., in a moment of incredible presence of mind, she managed to send a desperate text to her fiancé, David. "Call police immediately to mine now. Liam here. Police now. He's tying us up." She then silenced her phone. 2 minutes later, Liam shot Sophie in the chest with the crossbow. He then fled, carrying the weapon under a blanket. Despite a bolt lodged in her chest, Sophie Davies displayed unimaginable courage. At 6:57 p.m., having found the bodies of her mother and sister, she called 999. Fighting to stay conscious, she told the operator she was dying, that she'd been shot, and that her family had been attacked. She gave her full address before the line went dead. Armed police and paramedics descended on Willow Drive. Sophie was found alive in the hallway but died minutes later at the scene. All 3 women were pronounced dead that evening. Sophie's final act had saved her father's life. Had she not called, Michael Davies would have walked into the trap upon his return. At 6:54 p.m., Liam Carter fled towards his flat in Enfield. CCTV showed him leaving the area, seemingly calm. He stopped briefly before parking near his home at 7:32 p.m. He then entered the grounds of St. Jude's Cemetery. There, in the dense undergrowth, he attempted to fashion a noose from rope and a low tree branch. The materials were flimsy, the attempt half-hearted. Meanwhile, a massive police manhunt was underway. A counter-terrorism-style response was launched, with armed units, drones, and helicopter support. The public was warned Liam was armed and extremely dangerous. For 22 hours, Liam hid in the cemetery, a coward who had shown no mercy, now cowering from consequence. At 6 p.m. on July 10th, a police dog unit located him. As officers closed in, Liam committed one final act of cowardice. He turned the crossbow on himself, firing a bolt into his own chest. The injury was catastrophic, severing his spinal cord and leaving him permanently paralyzed from the chest down. He was rushed to hospital under 24-hour guard. The evidence was overwhelming. Forensic analysis proved Liam had sexually assaulted Megan during her ordeal. Residue from restraints was found on her limbs. Over 5,000 hours of CCTV were reviewed, and Liam's digital trail left no doubt. He was charged with 3 counts of murder. In a subsequent trial, he was also convicted of sexually assaulting Megan Hunt, a charge he continued to deny even after admitting to the murders. At his sentencing in January 2025, Liam Carter refused to appear in the dock. Mr. Justice Harrison addressed the empty space. "The evidence shows you to be a profoundly narcissistic individual, steeped in self-pity and a pathological hatred for women who dared to defy you." Michael Davies, in a victim impact statement directed at the absent killer, called him a void where a soul should be, and said the memory of his family's love would forever outshine Liam's darkness. The judge imposed 3 whole life orders. At 26, Liam Carter was sentenced to die in prison. The legacy of Helen, Megan, and Sophie Davies is not one of fear, but of love, strength, and courage. A community was shattered by an act of incomprehensible evil, but it was also witness to the extraordinary bravery of a daughter and sister who, in her final moments, thought to save others. As Michael Davies said in his statement, "Their light was extinguished by a profound darkness. But light leaves a shadow, a memory that can never be taken. And in that, they live on forever."